They said room 207 was out of service, but the key was already on the counter with my name on it. I should have walked away. I should have slept in my car, but it was raining, I was tired, and the front desk was empty. Just a dusty key, a flickering lamp, and the smell of mildew thick in the air. The Pine Ridge Motel stood like a carcass on the side of Highway 46. No cars, no lights, no noise. I pressed the bell, nothing. I called out, echoes. Then I saw it, key 207. My name scribbled on a yellowing tag. Creepy but convenient. I picked up the key. The light above the reception desk flickered out. Strike one. I made my way up the cracked stairs, past stained carpets and doors with chipped paint. The hallway bent unnaturally, like it didn't want me there. Room 207 sat at the very end, door slightly open. Not a good sign. I pushed it gently. Hinges groaned like a dying animal. Inside, a queen-sized bed with sheets too clean for this place. A musty curtain drawn tightly shut. A large, cracked mirror on the opposite wall reflected the room in a way that felt wrong, like it was a half-second behind reality. I turned to leave. The door slammed shut. Strike two. Old hinges, I muttered. Wind. I set my bag down and grabbed the remote. Static. All channels, just static. No surprise. I opened the curtain. Nothing. Not darkness, just black. Like the world ended right outside the window. A knock. I froze. Another knock, soft, then louder. I opened the door. No one. The hallway, different. Shorter. Only one other room now. 205. The rest swallowed in shadows. I slammed the door, locked it, and turned toward the bed. Someone was sitting on it. Pale, gaunt, faceless, skin stretched over bone. Dressed in motel staff uniform. Head twitching slowly side to side. I blinked. Gone. I reached for my phone, dead. No service. The wall clock ticked backward. The lights buzzed and dimmed. Strike three. But the inning wasn't over. I tried the door. Jammed. I banged on it. Nothing. I pulled back the curtain. Now there was a man staring in. Half his face was missing. What was left twitched like it was trying to speak through shredded muscle. He slammed the window crack. Again. Louder. Again. I stumbled back. The lights cut out. Pitch black. Silence. Then the phone on the nightstand rang. I answered. Hello. A voice, dry, hoarse, like leaves scraping bone, whispered. Why did you take the key? My throat tightened. I didn't mean to. You invited us in. I dropped the phone. The mirror on the wall began to shimmer like water. Something clawed at it from inside, pressing a face against the glass. I recognized the eyes. They were mine. Then it stepped through. Same height, same clothes, same face, but no eyes. Just empty, bleeding sockets. It smiled like it wore my skin like a costume. I grabbed the lamp and hurled its shatter. The figure vanished. I didn't wait. I grabbed my bag, ran to the door. It opened like it had never been locked. The hallway, endless, twisting, wrong. I picked a direction and ran. Doors began opening one by one. Inside each, a version of me died in a different way. Hanging, burning, drowning, screaming. And always, that whisper behind me. Why did you take the key? I screamed. I didn't know. I didn't know. I found the stairs. Down I ran. 2 steps, 5, 10. They looped back to room 207. I kicked the door open. It was no longer the same room. Now, it looked like the motel lobby. Same cracked desk. Same flickering lamp. The key was back on the counter, bloody this time. Still tagged with my name. Then I saw him, the real motel owner, hanging from the ceiling, eyes gouged, tongue missing. His corpse pointed toward the guest book. I approached. Pages and pages of names, all scratched out, except mine. Mine was fresh. Suddenly, slam. The door behind me shut. The room went dark. Silence. Then, welcome to your shift. I turned around. I was now wearing the motel staff uniform, same as the faceless thing I'd seen earlier. My reflection in the mirror? Gone. The mirror only showed the next person walking in, a young couple, confused, holding a reservation. And on the counter, 2 keys, room 207, with their names already written. It was 2:17 a.m. when my engine died, on an empty highway, in the middle of nowhere. No service, no lights, just pine trees and fog thick enough to swallow the stars. Then I saw it, a flickering neon sign barely cutting through the fog. The East Motel vacancy. The building stood crooked, like it leaned toward the road, begging. I walked closer, and that's when I noticed there were no cars in the lot. No tire marks, no footprints. Just one key hanging on the front desk in the lobby, swinging slightly as if someone had just left it. Room 108, and beside it, a sticky note that read, "Welcome back." Back. I'd never been here before. The voice from the vent. The room was cold. Too cold. The kind that sinks into your bones. I turned on the heater. Nothing. But the vent started whispering. At first, it sounded like wind. Then words. Then my name. "Daniel, why'd you come back?" I pressed my ear to it. Silence. When I stood up, my suitcase was open. Clothes scattered like someone had searched through them. I hadn't touched it. Then the vent whispered again, "Don't look in the mirror." So naturally I looked. The bathroom light buzzed. The mirror was fogged, even though there was no hot water. And in the fog, something was writing, "You're already dead." The room next door. 3:33 a.m. Knock, knock, knock. I peeked through the peephole. The hallway was upside down. Ceiling below, carpet above. A man crawling on all fours, but twisted, like his joints bent the wrong way. He was scratching at room 110 with his head. Then he stopped, snapped his neck toward me, as if he sensed I was watching. He smiled. I stepped back. The knocking started again, but this time it was behind me. I turned. Room 110's door was now inside my room. How? I hadn't even blinked. It slowly creaked open, revealing a hallway that shouldn't exist. It was long, wet, with flickering red lights and dozens of doors, each one labeled with a date. I walked in. One door stood open. Its label, "Tomorrow." Inside, I saw myself sleeping, peaceful, until something crawled out from under the bed and dragged me in. I ran. The hallway collapsed like paper. I crashed back into my room, slamming the door. Room 110 was gone. The staff. At 4:44 a.m., the landline rang. A voice chirped. "Housekeeping." I said nothing. "Sir, did you find everything in room 108 to your liking?" "What is this place?" The voice paused, then chuckled. "You checked in years ago, Daniel. You just don't remember the checkout policy." I yanked the cord from the wall. The phone screamed anyway. "Don't forget to leave a review," it hissed. I turned around. A maid stood at the foot of my bed. Old-fashioned uniform, face covered in cobwebs. Her eyes were sewn shut. She held out a guest book, open to a list of names, all crossed out. "Except mine," she whispered. "Only those who cross their names can leave." I snatched the pen, tried scratching it out. Nothing. My name was burning into the page. The truth of the East. I ran. Out the door. Down the stairs. Into the fog. The motel loomed behind me. its shadow stretching unnaturally long. Then I saw it, my car, where I left it. I jumped in. The engine turned over alive. GPS lit up. Cell signal returned. I floored it. 10 minutes. No sign of the motel behind me. I should have felt safe. But the dashboard screen flickered, then spoke. "Welcome to room 109, Daniel." I hit the brakes. The road disappeared. Trees faded. And I was back, standing in the motel lobby. But this time, the guest book was open to today's date, and 4 other names were now underneath mine. One of them was yours. Yes, you. If you're still watching, it means the motel in the east hasn't reached you yet. But if you ever see that flickering neon sign on a foggy highway, don't stop. Don't turn around. Just drive. Because once you check in, you never really check out. If that story gave you chills, hit the like button, subscribe for daily horror, and don't forget to ring the bell so the motel staff can find you quicker. Sleep tight.